Saturday, kids. What time is that?
Hey, it's Edson with GeekTime TV. So I got a chance to go see this movie, Am I Racist? Daily Wire's new, well, it's the first movie that's out in that they're actually putting out in the theaters. And I have to say it's quite good, quite funny, quite good. This is a movie where Matt Walsh, seen here, shows you just through just encounters with these people that have this radical DEI ideology. It just shows you how just ridiculous this thinking is. And you know, whether you like Matt Walsh or not, regardless of whether you agree with him or not, he does have this talent to be able to sit down and have this kind of casual encounter, casual conversation with people that believe strongly in these type of ideologies. And through the course of just a normal conversation where he kind of parrots back their own language, he forces them to show their true colors, how just show how ridiculous their thinking is, how hypocrites they are, how they're just mostly doing this for, you know, virtue signaling, and they're really not really standing behind it. And it just, the whole thing is, it's just so funny, and it's hilarious how he does this with these people that supposedly, you know, are pushing these radical views, and supposedly they are pushing the radical views, and supposedly they believe in them, but he winds up making a mockery of it, but not where he himself mocks them. He exposes them, and they themselves mock the whole thing, and it's just really incredible. Probably one of the best example of this. And okay, so I'm not going to. This just came out recently, so I'm not going to. I'm going to keep the spoilers down a little bit. I am going to. So warning, I am going to give some spoilers, but I'm going to keep it out as much as possible, just to give people a chance to really see this. But so there's going to be a little bit of spoilers, not a lot. So one of the best examples of this is he gets a meeting with Robin DiAngelo, and she's like this person that's kind of like this whole DEI ideology kind of crowned her as queen of it, because she wrote some book about how white people are just racist. Racist not because of what they think or what their personality, they're racist because just for being white. And you could probably just reduce this stupid ideology down to just that one sentence, where it's like they believe that white people are racist just because they are white. And so he gets this meeting with this woman, and he pretends that he's like a for this whole DEI ideology. He pretends that he has this kind of certification in DEI, and he wants to just interview her to get her thoughts on it. And through the course of this conversation, he makes her, not makes her, but he gets her to like say things that are kind of what she believes in, what she wrote, and kind of make it look ridiculous. And it makes her look ridiculous. It makes the whole quote unquote movement ridiculous. And he doesn't force them to do anything. He doesn't, and he just kind of has a casual conversation, and through that conversation he gets them to say just stupid things, which is basically at the heart of this whole movement. Well, and this is going to get into spoiler territory, and I promise I won't do that many spoilers in this review. But towards the end of their interview, he calls over one of his producers that's working on this movie, Ben, who happens to be black, and he has them sit there with the two of them, and he turns to Ben, Matt does, and says, you know, just going by what this woman believes in, what this ideology believes in, he turns to him and says, I formally apologize for being white, and you know, because that's what they think. I know, as ridiculous as that may seem, that's what they think, that white people should just apologize for no reason at all. He goes, I formally apologize. And then he turns and he goes into his wallet, and he takes out, like, I don't know, $20 or $30, and he hands it over to Ben, as, you know, kind of their view of reparations, that this stupid concept that someone who lives today who was never part of slavery, just because they're white, now has to pay to someone who has nothing to do with slavery, who lives today, who's black, and just has to pay them reparations for something that happened so long ago. And it's kind of obvious that Robin DiAngelo, who totally believes in this, was made rich by this book that she wrote, by this whole movement. Looking at him like bizarrely, like Matt just grew a second head. It was like what is happening here? She's like, and then she actually said, after he gives the Ben the money, she looks at him and is like, that was bizarre. And then Matt feigns confusion, is like, what do you mean? Isn't this reparations? And she's like, well, yeah, but when she could find her voice again after she was totally discombobulated, he goes, yeah, but I meant it more. I think we mean it more on the systemic side. So pretty much giving away that as long as they're not personally involved in any of this, as long as they don't have to give up anything, as long as it's some government out there, some system, some rich people or whatever, as long as they're the ones who are responsible for this, they're all for it. But when it comes to actually them being involved in these type of things, the complicity and the reparations, then of course she's just made out to be a complete hypocrite. And the Matt continues this awkward moment, just kind of like by continuing the conversation about reparations, and he's like, well, and then he goes to her, is like, well, would you like to make reparations to Ben here? And she's, again, the woman is just like kind of taken aback, and she's like, she goes, well, I guess. Then she turns to Ben and is like, and he goes, do you want some money? And and like I said, Ben is working on the movie, so he's in on the whole thing. So he's kind of like, well, I mean, if you want to, that's up to you. And so they actually get this woman to go to her pocketbook and get some money out and give it to him. And it's like, but she is completely uncomfortable with the whole thing, and it's obvious that they're not standing behind what they say. It's all this like virtual signaling crap and all this shit. And again, that's kind of like the big example of this, considering it comes from this one. Apparently, I read that after this movie started, premiered, and it was obvious that she is in it, but not the way she thinks she's in it, and she was exposed. Apparently, she kind of deleted all her social media accounts because of what happened in the movie, and. Like I said, and there's a lot more encounters about this where Matt just exposes these people. There's some random encounter on the street where there's somebody who believes in open borders, and this person is asked, well, would you be willing to take illegal immigrants into your home and take care of them and provide them housing? This would really help. And as soon as they hear that, they're like backpedaling. It's like, well, no, my apartment's a little too small for extra people or anything, but if you brought them to the rich people in Los Angeles, and she specifically said to the white rich people in Los Angeles, then that would be okay. And once again, showing the hypocrisy of the whole thing, and it's just incident after incident. It's funny in the way. I mean, it's kind of sad too that these people actually exist that think this way, but it's just funny how he just exposes them. One other thing, oh yeah, so there's one other incident I wanted to talk about, and I'm not going to give the whole thing because there's a really good joke with this, but I'm not going to say what it is. But what I'll say is he kind of pretends to have a petition to rename the Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument, and it's just hilarious that he actually gets people to sign this, the people who really think this way, which is very, very sad and really awful. But he gets them to sign it, and then he says that they're going to rename it. He's getting a petition to rename it the George Floyd Monument, and he also says they're going to change its structure somehow. And that there's a joke in there that I don't want to give right here, that there's going to be change the structure of it. And if you get to see the movie, watch out, be on the lookout for that joke there, because it's really, really hilarious what he says about it. The other thing I wanted to say is that he goes and interviews people in the Deep South, supposedly where they're racist, and they're just kind of like down to earth, hard workers that, want nothing to do with it. They say things like, I don't see the color of people's skin, whether your skin is white or black, you still bleed the same color. So we're all together. It's how people treat you that's the important part, and it's kind of, this is kind of like the common sense part where most people in the United States don't believe in this crap. So it's like there is a really when these people who are behind this whole DEI movement say there's like that the United States is racist and systemic racism, it's obviously not true. That's just these people delusions, and you can tell from just all the encounters he has. The probably the funniest part is the very last part, which I will not give a lot of details on because I really want people to experience it. So I was laughing so hard, where he puts himself out as, like I said, as a DEI certified instructor, and he comes up with this program that is very similar to other people who seriously do this, but he does it as kind of a joke, and he puts out this program with a bunch of 8 or 9 steps on how they can cure their supposed racism. And he actually gets people to sign up for this workshop. This is how bad things are. The people who believe in this sign up, pay him for this workshop. And I'm not going to get into specifics, but he lays out all the steps of this workshop, and it's just hilarious. The whole thing is utterly hilarious. He keeps a straight face, like he really means it, and it's utterly hilarious. The looks on these people's faces, and it's like, it just shows you at one point, like our theater wasn't even halfway filled, but you would think it was almost filled because of the laughter at this, especially at this last part. One poor woman kind of choked in her drink because she was laughing so hard at this last part where he comes up with this DEI workshop that shows the utterly ridiculousness of this whole thing. And it's just awesome. I just recommend everybody to go watch this. I don't know how long it's going to be in the theaters. Hopefully, it'll stay in the theaters for a while. And it's just funny. And yes, it's sad because then you come to realize that there are people out there who actually take this whole DEI crap seriously, and it's, I don't know. It's very sad. As you can see here in this page, 99%. So for those people who actually have seen the movie and come on here, virtually all of them just love it. 99%. I hardly ever see 99% score on Rotten Tomatoes. And of course, over here we see that there's no score on the critics, because critics aren't really today, this day and age. Critics aren't really, there are no real objective critics. They're just people who just just rate movies with a certain bias, a bias that they think that people that the society wants them to think. So if you're on the right, if you're on the supposed correct political side of the aisle, then you're okay. You can say whatever you want. But if you're not, then they're not gonna be part of this. Critic rating this movie. There's no way that what they think is critics, which are basically shills, are going to be able to review this, because I know they're going to say they're going to probably think it's a good movie, but they can't say it because that would be wrong for them to actually like this movie. But you see this here, but somehow, if you come down here, it does say critic reviews. It says view all, and it says 0. But if you click on it, it does have some. It's just not it's probably just not critics that they approve of or anything like that. But I want to read some of these. It's like, you're not getting anywhere on this, but it's too. So this person's like, you're not getting anywhere on this, but it's too funny. Okay, it made me laugh. Perfect. Here's a good one. Matt Walsh swiftly and entertainingly exposes the race industry for the crazy charlatan grift that it is. Perfectly stated. This is basically my whole review could have just been reduced, down to this one sentence, and this describes the movie perfectly. Half the audience will laugh, the other half will walk out. Okay. Here's another good one, perfectly stated. Matt Walsh exposes DEI madness and hysterical, overdue takedown. Yep. A bold, provocative, and outrageously funny documentary regardless of where you stand. This movie will be an eye-opening experience that will change the way you look at anti-racism and racism in America. Yeah, that's good. Walsh has a knack for asking seemingly ingenious questions that make his intercooler sound like racist. Exactly what I was trying to say. He has this talent where you can just sit with these people and have them just talk about it and make them look completely ridiculous. And so I highly recommend this movie. Give it, 10 out of 10 is what I would give it. And if you get a chance, go see it. You'll you'll laugh, and you'll realize that that this whole movement, this whole DI movement, that's basically telling you that the United States is racist, systemic racism, which is ridiculous, is not true. However, they've been at this for so long now that they finally convinced me that there has been a rise in racism, just not the racism that they think. There's been a rise, because of them, there's now been a rise in racism, anti-white racism is what's been happening a lot because of this whole stupid ideology, which is not what they're saying, but that is what actually is happening because of their efforts here. So anyways, if you get a chance, go watch it. Please leave me a comment on what you think of the movie, and I'll be glad to talk some more about it, but funny. 10 out of 10 for me. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching GeekTime TV. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure to check the little bell icon anytime someone from our network drops new content here. Want some GeekTime swag? Check out the merchandise available in the GeekTime TV store, linked in the channel description below. Share GeekTime TV with friends, and as always, thank you for your support. We'll see you soon.